It shows Washington, D.C., where it will take bipartisan action in the Senate to send legislation named after the late John Lewis to President Joe Biden's desk. In Texas, Republican lawmakers are poised to advance a bill that state Democrats say goes against what the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act stands for. The Texas bill bans drive-through and 24-hour voting, increases ID requirements for mail-in ballots, give more powers to partisan poll watchers, and limits voter assistance. Last month, more than 50 Texas Democrats left the state in protest of the bill.
Is this voter suppression? Are we still talking about that?
Some people call it election integrity. Some people call it suppression. And I've worked with them to get undesirable things out of the bill so they can get it passed.
Several Democratic state legislators believe the federal John Lewis voting rights bill would keep states from passing laws that could suppress voters.
Saturday marks the 58th anniversary of the March on Washington, where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. Haley Mason joins us live at the King Center, where she is talking about the new push to increase voting rights today. And Haley, Atlanta will be one of the cities holding a special event.
Yes, Atlanta, Rick, is considered a flagship city that will be commemorating this 58th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and the entire March on Washington event that took place that weekend. I just spoke with one of the original student organizers that participated in that March on Washington, and he talks about their path forward today.
I got into the movement at 18 years of age.
Atlanta pastor Gerald Durley tells me he remembers the 1963 March on Washington vividly. He was a student organizer when he made the trip.
And as a student leader in 1963, we were there right out among the crowd, and we heard John was our representative, John Lewis, because he was representing SNCC at the time.
This weekend, Durley will be one of the speakers in Atlanta's March On for Voting Rights. It's commemorating the 58th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Dr. Bernice King, former Mayor Shirley Franklin, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, all slated to speak, all channeling the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the day he delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech 58 years ago.
We were multi-faith, multi-color, multi-racial, young and old. In 63 at the march with 250,000 people there. Now we see the same kind of synergism and energy among the young Latinos and whites and young African Americans and male, female out there today. So I'm very pleased and optimistic about what can happen.
This week, the U.S. House passed the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Democrats say will add strength to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as more state legislatures push voting changes and restrictions. The bill will face GOP opposition when it heads to the Senate. All efforts that will be central topics at Saturday's march.
I'm glad that we started it in 1963 at the March in Washington, and it has not been a regression. We're at a point where it's stumbling right now, but we have to stay on the battlefield.
And in Atlanta this Saturday at 11 a.m., this March On for Voting Rights will start at Centennial Olympic Park with some of those speakers I named. We'll bring you coverage on that more next hour. And again this weekend, reporting live outside the King Center, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Haley, thank you.